you, sweetheart. Wow. Okay. And we are live.
Oh, we're live.
We're live. Okay.
Excuse me.
Episode 0.
Episode 0. Here we
There
are.
we go. That way my whole head is in the frame, in the shot. Hello, I'm Brian.
And I'm Shannon.
And this is...
Already.
We're doing great.
Oh, that's right. It was
Hello, I'm Brian.
and I'm Shannon.
And together we make
A load of BS.
your weekly dose of relationship advice.
With the healthy side of venting.
One of these days we're going to get that really good.
We are.
We're going to get it down.
This is episode 0, though, so I'm not worried about it.
Neither am I. Episode 0. We're going to talk about like who we are, right? I look like I just woke up, but I've been up for a while.
I mean, we kind of did. We haven't really
We're still drinking our coffee.
We're still drinking our coffee. Lazy Sunday.
A nice lazy Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who are listening, this is a load of BS. I make the B, Shannon makes the S. And we're going to talk about relationship advice throughout this podcast.
Yes.
Why?
Well, we are married.
We're married. And
We're
that
married.
instantly makes us experts.
And that makes us experts immediately. We had done 5 years of long distance before we got to love and cherish living together, and then got married. And so kind of, I would say we have a lot of experience with long distance, which is probably the hardest type of relationship you can possibly have.
I would say it's definitely up there.
Maybe not, but like the hardest. But,
A little bit. I mean, I wouldn't say that we're heroes.
we're not heroes at all.
I would say we're up there, though.
I think we're pretty good. We're heroes.
You're already blushing. Yeah, so this is who we are.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Brian Anthony Humans. Born and raised in a small town. Went to the big city to chase, don't give me that look, to chase my education. And I never knew that in the pursuit of academia, I would find love. But here we are. What about you? Who are you?
I'm Shannon Humans, and I lived in a mediocre-ish sized town. Then moved a couple hours away. Went to college, came back one summer and got a job. Met this guy, and then have been with him ever since.
Real quick, Santa Cruz is not a mediocre-sized town.
I don't know. It's pretty small, but it's a beach town.
It's a beach town. I'd say it's a beach city.
Right. Yeah.
From here all the way to Eureka, I feel like every single kid knows the jingle. At the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk.
In the Northern California sun.
Boardwalk! Yeah, everyone knows that. I feel like Santa Cruz is a pretty well-known town.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I feel like
So here
we are.
together.
We're wildly different too. Like, how do we work?
Well, you're 6'5", and I'm 5 feet.
4'11".
No.
Actually, 4'11". Actually, 4'11".
It's not 4'11".
She
I'm
comes
actually
right
5.
below my nipple.
I'm 5'1".
Not even.
in my mind.
But more than just height, we are different people.
Yeah.
As most couples are, they are comprised of different separate beings, and we are very different people.
Yeah. Well, so when I met you, you were a couple 100 pounds heavier.
A couple 100 pounds heavier?
Maybe like 100 pounds heavier.
Yeah, not a couple 100
It's
pounds.
a couple 100 pounds heavier.
I was like,
Scratch that.
scratch it. Okay, I'll get my editor on it.
Yeah. No, but then you were not into athletics.
No.
We both liked theater. You
Yeah.
were very into video games, and I did not grow up with video gaming. I grew up with a lot of athletics, theater, just, yeah,
You went to state for running, didn't you?
I did in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was in
And
band.
then you were you were in band, and you were like Mr. Darcy.
I was.
And so yeah.
And then in college, like our majors were just wildly different too. What did you major in?
I majored in business
Business
administration
okay. Did you get a concentration in anything?
and marketing.
Okay. So now, like, let's put that all together. You have a
I have a BS degree in business administration with an emphasis on marketing. And yeah.
and I have a baccalaureate of arts in English literature.
But you also have a
I have a couple AAs,
Yeah.
but like
those count.
an A in liberal arts and then an A in English. It's like
Smarty pants.
I've never used an AA degree. It's kind of like a bullshit degree. Once you get like your actual baccalaureate degree, it kind of really doesn't matter.
Well, I think that it's still it's still an accomplishment.
Yeah, I guess I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am very impressive. I would agree with that. I'm very impressive.
You're very You are very impressive
Thank you, sweetheart.
and cocky.
So yeah, we started out wildly different people. We met each other, we fell in love, and then we had like the easiest go at a relationship ever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like we were long distance, 3 hours plus long distance for 5 years.
No.
Um,
Well, so when I met Brian, I didn't like him at all. I thought he was really rude.
which is fair. I am a very rude person. I can be very rude. And when I met Shannon, I actually really liked her because she would always wear like the tightest like leggings in the world and
Not even.
showed off her ass really well.
Okay. Look, I did not. That was inappropriate for the workplace. Okay.
I mean, we were working at like a grocery store and they were black leggings, so it's not like
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we had the closing shift. And at first, I didn't like him at all because he kept making fun of me. But then I realized that was his flirting technique.
it was fun. It's fun to make fun of people, and don't you let anyone tell you different. Okay.
And then, and then we got to get to know each other, and he asked me out the day before, 2 days before my last shift. And he was like, you want to have a celebratory dinner? I was like, what does that mean?
I was like,
is that a date? And so I had to ask all of my friends whether or not that was a date.
I was like a little too afraid to like actually ask you out, but I wanted to like get you out on a dinner with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And you said yes.
and then I said yes. And then we went and we had a really nice dinner, pizza, and then McFlurry afterward.
Best date idea is to take the girl out for pizza and then take her out to McDonald's for dessert, because it's like it's super cheap, but also at the same time it shows that you're willing to go a little extra.
It was fun.
Above and beyond.
Yeah.
But then we spent like 3 hours in the parking lot
Talking into the car.
just talking.
Yeah.
We connected.
And then we
Work.
smooched.
Yeah, it was the best kiss in the world.
And then I had to leave to go back to school about a week later, and so we had a date, like a lunch date every single day before I left. And then on my way back to school, I went and met you at work, and then to say goodbye, and then we made out.
We did make out. And then we were kind of in like this weird in-between section of like not really together, but also not really looking for anything else. And then the next week we were texting, we were calling a little bit back and forth.
Yeah.
And the next week I had, I remember it very clearly, I had 1 day off, and I used that 1 day off. I drove like the 2 hours it was from Santa Cruz to Moraga, and I stopped by Safeway. I got like a bouquet of flowers and some cheesecake.
You did.
Because that was your favorite at the time.
Yeah.
And I surprised you, and with like flowers, cheesecake, and a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know. I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to make it big and romantic, to kind of like really sink home that like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm all in.
Yeah. And
I hope it worked.
Well, here we are. Yeah, and so then it was that pretty much solidified it. It was like after that point, it was kind of like either you're in or you're out. Like, because
and unfortunately, it was a 3 hour in.
And it was a 3 hour in, and then never looked back after that.
No.
And so then we went back and forth every single weekend to go and see each other, and then FaceTime calls every night, and texting a lot, and every single weekend just going for it.
We what would you say to a listener right now who's kind of like on the fence about the man that they're with or the woman that they're with right now, and they don't know whether or not they want to be all in with this person? What would you say as like a piece of advice to them?
And if they're long distance,
or not even long distance, like they live in the same town.
Well, I don't think that you should continue to lead them on. And so you really have to think about, your feelings for them, and just decide, like, are you going to go for it or not, and then choose, because, like, I don't know. I would say giving them the wrong idea is not not a good thing, especially if, yeah,
Yeah.
you just like think about it, figure it out, and then let them either move on or, just like go for it, take the plunge.
I completely agree with you. Only I feel like you should go the other way. Where, like, if you're not entirely sure about that person,
Take a couple dates.
take a couple big plunges with those dates. Like, if you are on the fence about a person, take like an entire day date. Like, hey, I'm gonna go have a picnic on the beach, and let's go to the beach for like a couple hours. Like, so that way you're with that person for an extended period of time, and you could like further bond with them, and then kind of get to know them and whether or not you want to continue it. But you're absolutely right. Like, if you do that and then you realize you don't want to be with them, then you should stop leaving them on.
That's true.
Unless you like the sex, in which case. In which case.
I mean, but that has to be something that like that you guys agree upon. Like, if someone is catching the feels, that's unfair.
Yeah. 5 years we've been together.
5 years.
Going on 6 years. And this is our first year of marriage.
Yeah.
We've changed.
We have changed a lot.
But not in bad ways. I think that's like a part of the adventure of finding someone to be like a life partner with, is like finding a person to not only have these adventures with, but also who's going to be supportive as you change, and you can be supportive to them as they change throughout life.
Yeah.
Because no one's going to be the same person that they are for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How do you think we've done in terms of change?
And change. Well, I think we've become slowly more inappropriate.
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit more comfortable with bodily functions and such.
Bro, anyone has a story like this, but I remember the first like couple of months, I would visit you, and like I would say, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom." And then I'd walk into the bathroom and I'd turn the sink on, and then I'd fart there. And then that's where I would fart, because I didn't want to fart in front of you at the time, because I didn't want to scare you off.
Well, yeah. And then
And nowadays it's like
in the morning, I would get up early so that I could I could like put on some makeup or something and like do my hair a little bit, and we're going back before you woke up, so that I don't know, I wanted to impress you.
You didn't want to scare me off with a morning breath.
Scare you off with morning breath, or like, I mean, at some point I was just kind of like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the hair, everything, just forget it. Crusties in the eyes. Like it. Eventually, you realize that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I feel like you always want to impress your partner in the beginning.
Yeah, of course. But at some point, you got to realize, like, hey, if we're all in, they're all in on me. I might as well be farting in front of them.
Yeah. And now that happens, I put that in the vows.
Yeah,
I
you
did put that in the vows. I promise to love you no matter how bad your farts smell.
And I promise to love you no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a promise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a vow I took.
Yeah.
throughout the years,
Mhm.
we've grown and we've supported each other.
Yeah.
But it hasn't always been easy. You are my best friend, and it's been easy loving you, and it's been easy
Yeah.
supporting you. But the distance is what has always made it really hard.
Yeah.
What's like some of the worst things that you think back on, looking back on like long distance?
I would say COVID was really difficult because there were a lot of instances where it was weeks before we could
Yeah.
see each other because either I was fortunate enough to work from home for quite a long period of time, but then you eventually had to go back to school.
Yeah.
Um,
Because of the time I was teaching.
Yeah, and so then it was like, oh, well, a student got COVID, so now I have to wait a whole entire week. And so even though we had something planned on the weekend, then that changed to, okay, well, now we can't do it that weekend. We have to wait and then do like, and so like we went, like I think there were times where we went over a month before we saw each other again.
Yeah. And that was
really hard.
That was tough. That sucked.
Yeah. It did. To all of the military families out there, I have so much respect for you because I can't even imagine that.
They'll go like years.
Yeah.
Or not even, well, not like years, but like they'll go a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that like even without COVID, one of the hardest things was like every Friday, I remember getting off of school and like just getting in my car and thinking, this is it. I better get comfortable, better put on a podcast or something because I'm going to be here for another 3 hours sitting in traffic, going up the Altamont all the way to Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Sitting in traffic. And then every Sunday it would be the same thing where it's like, man, I just spent like the weekend with this beautiful, amazing woman who I want to spend all my time with. And like, it feels like I just got here and now I have to leave and go and do my job and stuff.
Yeah.
So even without COVID, it was like, it was tough. It was hard.
Yeah.
But now we're married, we're together, we're living together.
Yeah.
And now we see, I don't want to brag or anything, but I think that like we're pretty good at the relationship stuff.
I think so. I have, like, now that we've been living together for like over a year or about a year.
Almost, yeah.
I can't even imagine like how we did it. How we did the long distance. Like going back to that would be a nightmare.
I would never want to go back again.
No.
A company would have to pay me a lot of money for me to consider like leaving my job.
That would be a discussion.
That would be a huge discussion. Because I know neither of us want to leave Santa Cruz despite the storms.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that the two of us have mastered the whole being in a relation thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now here we are to give our relationship advice. Which brings us to the next segment of the pod. What is a load of BS? Shannon, this last week, what has been a load of BS in your life?
This weather. It's a load of BS.
Fuck this weather, dude. Oh my God.
Look. Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate we had years of being in a drought. Okay. Yeah. And I know that last year was very, very hot. but I think we're good. I think that that when it rained in October, and then November, and then December, and then January, and then February, and in between that, there have been multiple atmospheric rivers, including floods over in our area. I would say we're good. I don't think we need any more. And, for a while. But it's still coming.
Bro.
And so I think that is my load of BS this week.
If anyone's listening to this and they want to know like just how bad it is that we're talking about, you could look up on like Google
Northern California.
Well, not just that, but President Biden visiting Capitola because of the storms.
Yeah.
The President of the United States visited like Capitola, which is like literally right next to Santa Cruz. It's in Santa Cruz County. Capitola got so ravaged by like the storms and floods that like the President of the United States had to come and declare a state of emergency. Like, It was crazy. And that was just in January. And here we are 3 months later, and it's still like raining. It's still crazy. That's definitely been a load of BS. That is, bless you. That has been a load of BS for me.
Yeah.
I'm sick and tired of that. But that brings us down to the next segment of the pod.
What's the next segment?
What is the next segment, Shannon?
Is it
It's the one that
Consumption Corner?
Consumption Corner. That's right. This is a segment that we actually ripped off from another podcast. But it's okay, because that podcast is no longer airing. They're no longer making episodes right now.
Thank you to 51 First Dates.
Love 51 First Dates. Love those guys. Consumption Corner. What have you been consuming lately?
Okay. So, to all of the Harry Potter fans out there. Okay.
What does that mean?
Gryffindor wins. Okay. So Brian, for the first time ever, is watching the Harry Potter, or we did a Harry Potter marathon, and now he's starting to read the books because when he was younger, he didn't have the opportunity to. And so...
Because of my batshit crazy mother.
Cindy, if you're listening to this, we love you.
Love Cindy. Love Cindy. Love my mom. Mommy. You know I'm mama's big boy. You know that I love you, okay? That said, though, like, some of the things you did when I was growing up, mama, like, come on. I grew up in a very weird household. It was like one of the households that thought that Harry Potter was evil and demonic because of witchcraft and sorcery and black magic and stuff. And so we watched all eight
watched
movies
all of the movies
within 4 days.
Yeah, so it was raining. It was raining, and Brian and I, I'm sure, in another segment, in another episode, we'll talk a little bit about some of the fitness goals that are happening in our life right now. But normally we would go on a long run on a Saturday and a short run on Sunday. And because of the weather, we didn't have the opportunity to do anything outside, which I would say that we like to go out and do stuff on the weekends.
I would say we're the most active couple that I know, other
Yeah.
than your parents.
That's true. Yeah. And so literally it was just like, okay, we need to, like, it is cold, it's wet, it's so windy. There are like trees blowing down outside. What do we want to do? And we were like, you know what? Let's have a lazy weekend. How does Harry, because I had been trying to get him to watch Harry Potter for a long ass time.
I had originally seen the first movie way back as a kid. And then once the second movie hit DVDs, I saw the second one. But by then, it had become such a huge, massive like thing. That's when like a lot of like the Christian Protestant groups of America started really hammering home that like, oh, this is evil and demonic around when the third movie like started coming out.
Yeah.
So I had seen the first two movies way back as a kid, but I had never seen the third through eighth movie ever.
Yeah.
Until we saw all 8 movies within 4 days.
4 days.
Between a Friday and a Monday. It was really good. We even made butterbeer.
We did the next weekend. So he got really into it the first couple of days afterward. And so he came home with a butterbeer recipe. And
cream soda, vanilla vodka, the caramel schnapps. Yeah, and we made butterbeer together.
We'll put the recipe down in the description below.
Oh, God. Now you're going to tell me what to do now, huh?
Yes.
Okay. Happy wife, happy life. Am I right?
That's what we do, right? We do it down in the description below, the link. Yeah. Subscribe.
Or in the comments. I'll post in the comments. Yeah, hey, by the way, you can subscribe and like if you're enjoying it so far. If you like this kind of content.
But that's one that and so right now you just started the second book.
Yeah, we started listening to the books on Audible or like Audible.
I forgot how good they were.
They're really good. The narrator is really good. Jim Dale is like the narrator for all of the audiobooks. Mm-hmm. And he does a really phenomenal job at like voice acting and really giving like the inflections and emotions for all the dialogue. He's really good.
Yeah.
The first book was really good. I enjoyed it. It was like a really quick read. It was like a long run and a couple other runs.
Yeah.
And then I started listening to the second book, and I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm not too far into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one part of my consumption corner.
One thing I would like to say is I forgot how much Snape absolutely hates Harry. Like, the actor in the movie is incredible. Alan Rickman is fantastic and does an amazing job. But like in the books, I would say that like there is a flaming passion of hate. He does not.
He was like on the lookout in the second book, like trying to get Ron and Harry like expelled just for driving the flying car into the Weeping Willow or the Wampin Willow. That was definitely a huge part of our consumption for this last week.
I think the second one is the
Biden and Bros AI president memes has been all the rage. And I am so obsessed with all of them.
I know.
They're all just like, they're so good. There were some that were like just trying to get all of the presidents to curse a lot.
Yeah.
But like now that like that's kind of getting old, there's some like content creators who are getting really creative, like getting the presidents to make a tier list for video games or Harry Potter, or getting the presidents to play Uno together and like getting like all of their personalities.
Yeah.
I could watch those for literal hours.
They're funny. They are funny.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't, but like a lot of them are funny.
Yeah. And then we saw a couple documentaries this week.
Yeah.
Which one was your favorite documentary the past week?
Ooh, that's hard.
We saw the Bernie Madoff one.
Yeah.
And then we also saw the Malaysian Flight 370.
Yeah, that one was really interesting. I have to say that was probably my favorite. Like that we saw this week, just because what happened?
No one knows.
No one knows. It's still a mystery. And
that is crazy to me.
And there are just so many different crazy like conspiracy theories, but nothing like fully adds up. And there are so many things that are way too much of a coincidence that it's just
like I really enjoyed that one. I think I enjoyed the Bernie Madoff documentary series a little bit more though.
I know.
But,
you
yeah.
like the
like crime
finance
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just thought that like that's so wild to me that he gets investigated 3 separate times by the SEC, and they just give him a clean bill of health and you send him on his way.
Yeah. And he even gave them like an account number. And if they had just followed up on the account number, like it kept going for like 2 years after that.
It's wild.
And yet, yeah. It's insane. But then also there's the oh my gosh, why is the TV show? Why am I not thinking of it?
I have no clue.
Video game one.
The video game one?
Yeah.
The video game TV show.
Mm-hmm. The one.
Raven Mythic Quest.
No, Ellie and Joel.
Oh, The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I think of the name?
Episode 8.
Okay. The finale is coming out tonight.
Tonight.
Um,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that episode, the most recent episode was great. No spoilers, we won't say anything. But if you haven't watched it yet, you should, because it is fantastic. If you like zombies, then this is the show for you.
It's so weird too, because like if you think back, we really haven't seen many zombies.
No. But it's a very cool, like the different storylines.
Yeah, I would say so. It's there are parts of it that are very true to the game, and then there are other parts of it that like wildly go off the trail. But I feel like altogether, it's telling like one good cohesive story.
Right.
It's putting together between Ellie and Joel and their father-daughter dynamic relationship.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where it goes. And the 2 actors, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey, like are absolutely killing it. They're phenomenal.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Also,
I would say just the last one for me is the Nick Bear podcast. Or not podcast, I'm sorry. No, the Nick Bear YouTube.
Yeah.
We have followed him and Eric the Electric for quite a bit, but recently we've been following Nick Bear in his bodybuilding show journey, and it's very interesting. amount of like food he had to eat, and then like having to cut his diet, and then all of his different workouts. It's insane.
I
don't know
am
how he does it.
so excited to see how he does in his body performance in the body show, because I remember watching him when he was like training for the Ironman, like Ironman prep.
Yeah.
And then just through the years, like him going through and doing the 100-miler, and then like getting a sub 3-hour marathon, and like becoming a body builder, like for a show, is just wildly different than anything else that he's done so far.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see, because like he's doing phenomenal. Like that guy looks ripped right now.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. I will say this. I'm interested to see how this podcast goes.
Yeah.
I know that you and I talked a lot about it. There's sometimes where I always get the impression that like he's so serious of a guy. I just want him to like let loose a little bit. I'd like to see him after a couple beers, you know?
Yeah.
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 But will see.
We'll see.
Okay.
Listening to also Chris Humans.
Chris Humans? Who's that guy?
It's my older brother.
My brother.
He's a fantastic musician. And on all of my runs this week, I've just been listening to his new single on repeat.
What is the name of his new single? Hey, I want to shout out to Chris Humans for his brand new single, which is called, I don't know what it's called, but I want to shout him out for it. Hand me my phone. I'll tell you what it's called. He is a phenomenal.
Well, I've just been listening to all of his songs.
All of the songs.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song of his?
Oh my god. I really like Dance. A lot.
You took mine.
But
Draw the Line.
Draw the Line. That's it.
I really like Heart of a Lie.
Yeah.
But Draw the Line is the newest one, and it's Draw the Line is way better for running because it's a lot more like pump up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like this has been a pretty good episode 0.
I think so.
Like go over who we are, our personalities, some of the stuff. And as always, I would like to end the podcast with answering like a little tidbit of relationship advice. And being that this is episode 0, I was perusing Reddit and I found I should have like written down who it was or like the link or something.
Yeah.
But a more specific advice: if someone is in a long distance relationship, what is the best way in your mind to maintain open, honest communication through the relationship?
What is the best way?
Yeah, what's the best way to keep that relationship afloat when they are long distance?
Lots of communication, just a lot of it. Whatever it is, whether it's texting, calling, FaceTiming, you name it. Even like Snapchat. Like, I know that, I don't know if the kids these days still use Snapchat.
Which shows how old we are. Because it's actually like one of the more most used.
But like literally any sort of communication is good communication, because that's the only way that it's going to survive.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, how about you?
I would say very similarly, like, yeah, any communication is good communication. And that also goes the other way too, where it's always good to reach out, but it's always really good to reach out to let your partner know that, hey, I might be held up here, and that partner needs to like be very like understanding and accepting.
Yeah.
So just like for instance, like there were a lot of times when we were in college, and either you would text me saying, "Hey babe, I'm really sorry, but I can't like FaceTime tonight because I'm gonna go out with the girls."
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it sucks because like, oh man, I want to talk to my baby,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like we both have our own friends as well, and we gotta be understanding.
Yeah.
Don't get upset at your partner for hanging out with their friends or anything
That
like
is
that.
something that's super important. Don't cut off your friends.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I would agree with everything that you said. Texting, call, FaceTime, the Snapchats. Is
All
Vine?
the Twitters.
Are you guys using Vine nowadays?
Vine is dead, isn't it? I thought that it was dead.
It is dead.
I thought it was TikTok.
All about the TikTok.
All the TikTok.
All about the TikTok.
All about the TikTok.
You can find me at TikTok at Cardio Bro.
Is it still Cardio Bro?
I need to change my
I thought
TikTok
it-
handle. Yeah.
What's it gonna be? To all of our.
Brian Humans.
Okay.
Look me up at Brian Humans. I think. Anyway, this has been a load of BS.
With this has been Shannon.
And Brian. Get it? B.
S. And
This has been a load of BS with your hosts, Brian and Shannon. Tune in next time where we
talk about
what are we going to talk about next time?
stuff.
Okay. There you have it, folks. All right. End
Scene.
I have to get up and go turn off the live stream.
Turn it.
All right, bye.